Uh, I don't even know what to say, man. I'll take the dub. Don't get me wrong. I'll take the dub. I'll take first place in the AFC North. But my God, I can't stand this team. I cannot stand this team. Why can't we just have a complete win? Why can't we just have a complete game? We might only have 1 the whole season, and that's probably indicative of our record, right? We don't have 1 complete game, and we're 7-6. Probably could be 6-7. What other record could we be? I guess you flip it the other way too. I'm trying to do math in my head right now. This is terrible. We could probably be 5-8. Yeah, we could probably be 6-7, 5-8, just as easy with how inconsistent and how incomplete these games are. Maybe we could have another win on our resume as well. Maybe we could be 8-5. Who knows? But, like, jeez, oh, man, dude. First half, unreal. Offense, explosive, dynamic. We actually get the ball to a guy that we're paying $30 million a year. Rodgers looks like vintage Rodgers. We're doing different formations. We're doing different personnel packages that actually pose a threat to the defense from every side of the field, from every player on the field. I'm seeing MVS out there on the outside. DK's out there. We got one of our tight ends out there, either Freiermuth or Darnell. Running back out the backfield, Kenneth Gainwell, Jaylen Warren, they pose as a passing threat. And then whatever other receiver we had out there was either Thielen or Calvin Austin. We were doing that in the first half, spreading it out, shotgun, Rodgers operating like an OG that he is, like the Hall of Famer that he is. It's beautiful. I thought we ditched Arthur Smith's offense officially. That's what it looked like in first half. And even in the third quarter, looking good. Got out the gates humming. And then fourth quarter happened. We reverted back to the Arthur Smith slash Tomlin special, the Arthur Smith Tomlin offense of playing scared and way too conservative. Final drive to close out the game, run, pass. Come on, bro. And we punted to the Ravens, 2 minutes left with Lamar Jackson, chance to win it. Worked out. Defense stepped up. Gotta give credit to the defense those last couple drives because they stood up in the red zone. Kinda got lucky with the call on the reverse touchdown. Kinda got lucky there. Should have been our ball, down, Rodgers, chance for the final drive to tie it or win it or whatever, but, you take the breaks, and Patrick Queen made the nice play on 4th down on Mark Andrews. It all worked out. Don't get me wrong, it all worked out, but why can't we just have a why does it have to get to that point? Why does it have to get to that point? Why can't we just play sound football all 4 quarters? I know it's not always gonna be perfect, but second half, we look incompetent. Specifically, fourth quarter for the offense, we go to the Matt Canada shit. Those I think it was 3 drives in the fourth quarter where we just play way too scared, play on our fears, let the Ravens climb back in it. We got away from that aggressive offense, that 2025 open dynamic offense we were running those first 3 quarters and just decide to, I don't know, just go backwards in time and do Matt Canada shit, play scared. It doesn't make sense to me. Why not just keep doing that? Why not keep doing that? Because the run, pass, too conservative. Just that, put the pedal to the metal. Let's close out the game. From a defensive standpoint, you could see we were getting leaky heading into halftime. I didn't know if that was gonna carry over, but Ravens scored right before half, and then, yeah, it was really bad in the second half. Rushing yards given up, 200 something plus, and that's the sad part is in the first half, our run defense actually stood up. We in a vacuum, or as a whole, improved from last week, even with the Ravens getting, what, 200 something on the ground. We technically improved, 217 on the ground for the Ravens. So, step in the right direction. We went from letting up over 240 last week to 217. But as a whole, I do think we did a decent job on Derrick Henry. It was 1 or 2, really explosive runs from the Ravens that opened it up, and then the Ravens adjusted a little bit, give them credit there. They started doing some QB runs with Lamar Jackson in the second half and stopped doing the same thing that they were doing over and over again. I think they said that on the broadcast. You could hear, was it Lamar? It was Lamar or one of the other Ravens on offense complaining about how Steelers know what we're doing. We got to switch it up, and that's something that is all too familiar with us when it comes to offense. Ravens were dealing with it in this game, but they made some adjustments second half. Lamar made some plays too. Give credit where credit's due there. Lamar Jackson was Lamar Jackson. He brushed off that pick to James Pierre. Shout out James Pierre for the pick. And yeah, sometimes you got to credit good players making good plays and doing their thing. But at the same time, I feel like we got a little soft second half, both offense, defense, more defense than offense because it was the whole half for the defense. Although they closed. I guess you got to give some props for those last two drives. Defense ultimately did close it out. Why can't we just have nice things, though? Why can't we have a complete game? Like this game, it still doesn't really tell you anything new, I feel like. Because we can't stay consistent. It doesn't tell you, like, that's what we knew about this team going in. That's been the script for the 2025 Steelers. Because we've seen this type of game how many times already? Play really good, first half, maybe even first three quarters. We look like the dominant team. We look great on offense. Look like we have our shit together there. Rodgers is looking like vintage Rodgers. DK's getting the ball. We're spreading it out. Calvin Austin's making some plays. Everyone's getting involved on offense. Kenneth Gainwell, running backs, they're doing their thing. And then it all goes down the tubes. Fourth quarter, late third quarter, fourth quarter. We keep hunting to the other team. We get too conservative. They start clawing their way back because our defense is playing too much prevent, and they're able to score in like 2-3 minute drives. All of a sudden, you look up, it's a one-score game, and we got to fight for our lives at the end. Final drive. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a win still. It's a win. It's a win. It's a win. I don't know. I don't know what this game tells us. I don't. I'll take it. I'll take it. But outside of the offense doing some different stuff, I really don't know. And I like that. I like what our offense looked like the first three quarters. Let's stick with that. Can we just stay with that and stop doing the conservative side? I saw Jonnu Smith out there way too much in the fourth quarter. Didn't see him a lot in those first 2-3 quarters, and the offense looked optimal. Offense looked explosive. And I was saying it whenever I'd see the packages we were doing. I was giving applause. Like, this is exactly what I was talking about last week. This is what I've been saying. Enough with the 3 tight end sets. Enough with the throwback football, bully ball football. Not working anymore. Not. Just ain't it. Get guys out there that actually pose a threat to the defense, can keep them on their toes, keep them second guessing, do some unique formations, put guys in optimal spots. And we did that. Like, I saw for many of the plays we were doing, first 2-3 quarters on offense. Oh, MVS is out there. Okay, he's on the outside. Deep threat right there. Defense got to pay attention to that. DK Metcalf, maybe in the slot or on the other side of the field. Okay, they got to watch for that. That opens up the middle of the field a little bit then. And if we have like a Darnell Washington or a Pat Freiermuth, even like a Calvin Austin, middle of the field, okay, like that's actually something. Running back out the backfield, as opposed to 3 tight ends out there. We're under center or we're in the pistol like last week. We got Jaylen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell out the backfield. It's like, who's the defense really that concerned about outside of the running back and DK Metcalf actually getting open and winning their one-on-one? It was no one, especially with how the formations were set up and the packages were set up. It's like, yeah, this just ain't gonna work. But these plays, these formations, I'm seeing some bunch stuff. I'm seeing some plays that I would use in Madden where I forget what's the one. It's like tight. It's like you got 2 guys on each side, tightened up. They got the whole field to work with. You can send them on crosses. You can send them on shit on the outside, zig routes, corner routes, running back. That was literally the formation we scored on with Jaylen Warren. I'm like, yeah, I ran that play at Madden, and we got MVS out there. We got a Muth. We got DK. And we got Calvin Austin. It's like, yeah, defense that's a tough little formation to work with. That's a tough personnel grouping to work with in that formation. That's tough. You got to watch the outside. You got to watch sit for over the middle. If you're in zone, you saw what Muth did. Ran that vertical on that play. He was wide open. Rodgers ultimately threw it to Jalen Warren. We scored the touchdown. But it's just like we were doing a lot of that with our offense, even like Thielen being out there. Wasn't out there for too much, but seemed like the offense was doing something when he was out there. Defense had to pay attention to that. Not much tape on that. It's like, all right, alert. I don't really know what's going to happen with Thielen here. We use that to our advantage. So then fourth quarter happened, and we forgot everything good that we were doing in those first three quarters. It's a shame. It's a shame. Like, why can't we just close it out? Let's stick with what I like. I feel like there was a lot of Rodgers influence on the offense those first 2-3 quarters. A lot of Rodgers influence. And then felt like it was more Arthur Smith, Tomlin influence. Fourth quarter, when we were up, had a sizable lead, and we're just like, let's play not to lose. Let's see what happens here. And you saw where that got us. It got us ultimately the win, but took a pretty nice ref call to help us in that. Does Rodgers close it out those final two? Who knows? I guess we'll never know. All hypotheticals, but it's just like, man, why do we gotta leave it up to chance? Why do we gotta leave it up to the refs? Why do we gotta leave it up to some fluky play in the last minute or two? Why do we gotta do that? Listen, if this is the playoffs, do or die. Yeah, you take it, you move on. And I guess in a way, you take this. It's a divisional matchup against the Ravens on the road. You take the win, you move on, but it's not like this is an outlier. And no matter if we're winning or losing, this is how this Steelers team is playing, and this is how these Steelers teams have been playing for the last 3 or 4 years. Way too inconsistent. I hope this is the catalyst game to spark us towards consistency as a team for these last 4 games and into the play. I hope so. I pray to God so. But I don't know how to think otherwise, really. I don't. Let me read some of these comments, man. Shout out to everyone in the chat. What's popping, man? How's everyone's Sunday? Should be better after this Steelers win. But, man, if we would have continued to play like we did in the second half, I'd be in here yelling about how we're back, bro. Like, oh, man, we did everything right this game. We used the last couple weeks, last month as this motivation. We're going to steamroll in through December and into the playoffs. We got a chip on our shoulder. We know what's up. Like, watch out for the Steelers. Changes we made on offense. We figured something out, found a solution. Defense looks like they're really playing hard. They're really playing for each other. They really took the criticism to heart. They're showing effort. But didn't happen. Got the win, though. Got the win. Let's read some of these comments, man. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to everyone dropping this dough and getting their takes off. Jackson Detchen, $4.99 with the donation. Thank you, bro. So I think just having MVS and Adam out there open the field for Rodgers and DK. Absolutely. Yeah, not a coincidence. Not a coincidence at all. Justin Gall, Steelers Nation. We started the game down a couple good starters and lost another 2-3. It just shows you effort is all that matters. When you give an F, you get a dub. Yeah, shout out. I think Patrick Queen played well. I do think the defense, for the most part, did have effort, for sure. But I think it was schemes, play call, whatever it was in that second half. We get way too conservative, and you got Zay Flowers and Ravens receivers running around wide, like literally wide open. They're getting 30, 40-yard chunk plays like in the snap of a finger. And they're able to score in like an instance and get right back in the game. Held them to field goals a couple times, but again, I don't know why it has to get to that point. I don't. Because as much as, all right, I get you're trying to play maybe a little bit more conservative, keep things in front of you, because you don't want to give up the big play, the explosive play. You're basically doing that anyway because of how soft you're playing. They're still picking up 30, 40 yards a pop with some of these dropbacks, Lamar. I'm sorry, dude. My throat is like, yeah, I need some of this water. Some of these dropbacks Lamar's taking and chucking down the field. So why not play with the confidence and controlled aggressiveness that you had in the first half, the first couple quarters? Because that's how I would describe the Steelers defense. Calculated, confident, knew what they were doing, knew what they were trying to accomplish out there with pressuring Lamar, and what we were doing in the secondary against the receivers. But then second half, it's just like we're praying to hold on. We're just praying not to lose. Let's just keep everything in front of us and hope they make a mistake. And Lamar didn't make a mistake. Didn't. That second half. Shannon Cassidy, 4423. Deep, we won. Enjoy it. I'm doing as best as I can right now. I'm doing as best as I can. If you would have caught me on a halftime report coming up here, you should see the text I was throwing out to my friends group message in that first half. Oh, we're back. I believe in this team. There's a different look in Rodgers' eye. There's a different look in this offense's eye. We're up with the times. I'm actually seeing an explosive, dynamic offense. We got a chance. Rest of the league, watch out. Like, these are the texts I'm sending my buddies. Now I look like a clown. And even with us winning, I still look like a clown for sending off those texts. Because, again, after this game, even though it was a win, what's the takeaway? What's the new spin on this team going forward? What's the big silver lining of hope that we have to really do damage in the playoffs? I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I guess sometimes you wait till you get there anyway. You got to wait and see. You take it a game at a time. There's something to be said for that. But this game just looks more and more like the same. Classic Steelers-Ravens game, though. Definitely a classic Steelers-Ravens game. Comes down to the wire. And it would be different. I feel like it would be different if the games this year, the games the last 2, 3, 4 years played out differently, and this was like an outlier game. But it's just more of the same script, more of the same storyline year in and year out with the Steelers team and how we go about our business. Dustin Decker, 86. What's good, Deke? Just celebrated with my boy Otis. Not sure how to deal with this up and down BS, but it could be Tomlin's redemption arc. Never lose faith. Hey, man. I'm with you, bro. Like, needed this win. Hopefully we can build maybe something to build off. How about that? Something to build off of. Step in the right direction. Definitely from an offensive standpoint. Hated what I saw in the fourth quarter. I think big step in the right direction for the offense because of what we saw in the last month. It was bad with this offense. Averaging only 14 points per game. Last 4 games. Looking pretty inept. I mean, last week was bad. It was a rock bottom. Rodgers banged up with that wrist, pistol formations. Looked all out of sorts, all out of sync. So that was a big step in the right direction for an offense. For sure. Looked more like what our offense was showing in those first 6 weeks, I'd say. Where we were excited about the offense. We felt like the offense and Aaron Rodgers was actually carrying the team. The defense was helter-skelter all over the place. So that's good. Still don't like that fourth quarter, though. Defense, I guess you could say, as I said, technically a step in the right direction. We went from letting up 240 on the ground last week to 220. Now, some of the Ravens rushing yards hit a little bit different because of how Lamar Jackson plays and how he's utilized with the QB runs. And then some of those yards are coming off of him scrambling. You're not going to be facing a Lamar Jackson week in and week out. But the league has gotten a lot more mobile at quarterback in general. So, even with the Ravens style and how they utilize Lamar Jackson, you still got to deal with quarterback mobility for the most part on a week in and week out basis, I'd say. Man, tough show for me today. All like not articulating that well. Rough show. Let's see. We got Steelmatic 79. Damn the game. JK, what's up, Deke? What's good, bro? I don't know what you're saying by that. Damn the game. Like a good way? Like, damn the game. Still won. Or we won, but Jesus. Like, damn. I don't know what you're going for there. But seems like you got some positive vibes. Justin Gall, Steelers Nation. Listen, if we can't get excited about a win, then what are we doing? Let's go make millions of dollars or something worthwhile. Being a Debbie Downer after a win is a waste of energy. Sure. I do think part of it, at least for me, like I got a job to do here. Like I got to step up in front of you guys and give some context, give some takes about this. It's like, yeah, the win is cool. The win is cool, but what is the major takeaway? What's the major thing from this game that we could grab onto going forward? Like, has the status of this team changed at all, in your guys' opinion? I think that's my question. This just feels like par for the course. This just is another step in the non-losing season champion category. I guess you got to at least be on that level to get into the Super Bowl champion category. Because if you have a losing season, I guess technically you can't have a losing season, win the division, be in the playoffs, go on a run. But you get what I'm saying. Can't be a losing season champion and also a Super Bowl champion. You could be a non-losing season champion and potentially a Super Bowl champion, right? So maybe there's something to be said for that. But it's the same old, same old. Same old, same old. I did like the offense, though, this week. That was definitely a positive. Definitely a silver lining. The new formations, the new personnel, MVS, Thielen, I think they made a difference. Weird that we sat Roman Wilson. Worked out, though. Definitely worked out. Roman Wilson was inactive going into this one. I think you could have made an argument it should have been Calvin Austin as opposed to Roman Wilson, but I'm sure Rodgers has some say into that. He has an affinity towards MVS. Thielen coming on. Rodgers and him have a prior relationship, even though they were NFC North rivals. I think they're friends and stuff. So, yeah, Thielen's getting the nod. MVS getting the nod, getting the call up after being on the practice squad for the last month. And someone's going to have to sit from the receiver room standpoint. And if Rodgers has a preference with Calvin Austin over Roman Wilson, so be it. I mean, it worked out today. I think you could definitely make an argument Roman Wilson should have been out there over Scotty Miller, but Scotty Miller's probably a little bit better in special teams than Roman. Special teams work and shit. So, and Ben Skoranek, you see him. He has his niche of being the best blocking receiver out there. Made a clutch catch from Rodgers. Bummer for Roman Wilson, but we got to do what's best for the team. We got to do what's best for this offense. And if Thielen, MVS make Rodgers more comfortable, open things up a little bit more, and Roman Wilson got to sit, that's just the casualty that has to happen, unfortunately, for Roman and his development. What else we got, man? All right, give me some takes, man. Like, give me some things to talk about. Give me some new things to talk about with this team. Give me some new insights. Spin to Reaper says literally everybody talking bad about our team, bro. At least talk about the good and the bad. What ifs after a win is insane. Give me some new insights. I want to hear. Give me some new insights with this team. I like some coverage and again, the defense, I already said this. Defense in the first half was good. I think was really good, surprisingly good. Stopped the run. Held Derrick Henry in check. Coverage, good. Pressure, Lamar Jackson, he was uncomfortable. Outside of that last drive before half, the defense was really, really damn good. Eccles showed up. Pierre had some nice plays. Tight coverage with him. Like, even though Lamar, there was that one pass, DeAndre Hopkins, this was in the second half. down the sideline. Pierre tight coverage. Hopkins was forced out of bounds, incomplete. Yeah, Patrick Queen for the most part played pretty good. I think he was good in coverage. Still had a moment or two in the run game where you're just like, it was Patrick Queen out of place here. But we know that with Queen. TJ Watt, good. Not vintage TJ Watt. Highsmith making a play or two. Yeah, I don't know, man. Keanu Benton got hurt. Defensive line was, as a whole, I think subpar. Like our front seven against the run, if you take the game as a whole, was subpar, giving up over 200 on the ground. But again, first half was good. We just didn't close well. We didn't close well on both sides of the ball. In totality, it was the second half for the defense and fourth quarter for the offense specifically. Didn't close. So here, yeah, the Gumby 984. Boswell was the GOAT. Yeah, we knew that. DK had his best game. Yeah. So and this is my point. Like we've seen a DK game like this. This was out in Minnesota. We've seen some good DK games this year. They're few and far between. It might be one or two. So DK had his best game this game. Hopefully that keeps up because of the new guys that we have on offense. Hopefully it is sustainable. I thought the same thing after the Minnesota game though too. Got to keep it up. That's what I mean. Like can we just see the Steelers put, I don't even know how to put it. I was going to say put this type of game together for like 2-3 weeks in a row. Can we at least see that? But within this game, literally this game was the embodiment of still inconsistency, of it not being a complete game. I think we've only seen one complete game, maybe two complete games this year. But again, it's followed up by more incomplete games, wonky wins, or really bad losses. 2 games I'm thinking is Bengals, second Bengals game at home. But even that, I feel like our offense even that good that game? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, that was Mason in the second half. Right. Yeah, offense was weird in the first half. Then Mason gets in second half. So even within that, it was like kind of inconsistent. The offense was really lackluster in the first half when Rodgers was out there. So I would say that though. I'll give Bengals game because the defense stood up, offense put up. I think, although no, it wasn't the offense. We scored 2 defensive touchdowns that game. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to remember back on that. The offense wasn't as crisp as it could have been. There was electric in the second half when Mason got in. A couple drives with Mason, there was a spark. I was promoting Mason as the starter for the next game. I get it. But we'll say that. We'll say complete game there, Bengals game and the Browns game. And even within the Browns game, we're giving up, I think, a little too much yards in the second half, the fourth quarter to Dylan Gabriel. Stopped them in the red zone. But it's just like, man, why can't we continue to set the tone throughout the whole game? It's not going to be perfect. Maybe there's going to always be a drive or two. It's not going to be perfect, but I hate when the momentum shifts like that and the game feels completely out of our hands. But maybe that's what Tomlin wants. Just to have the fans, just to have the people at home and the Steeler fans in the stadium thinking that, oh, man, we've lost control. Let's just do this for a dramatic effect. He did say in his press conference this week when asked about the fans booing, he's like, this is the entertainment business. I get it. So maybe he's just leaning into that. Not cool because that doesn't necessarily help us with the bottom line. Big winning and actually being playoff contenders, Super Bowl contenders, just trying to be dramatic and entertaining. That gets you 9-8, 10-7. Because that's what it is, man. It's up and down every week. Every week. What else we got in the chat? That's what so I think my main point is, we got to build off this win. We still got to build off this win. Can the offense do pretty much what we did this week and next week's game? Can we do that outside of the fourth quarter? Still 27 points. That's above the line. Can the offense continue to do that? And the defense Um, not give up 200 on the ground. That's the next week's goal. Let's not give up 200 on the ground against Miami. Can we just not do that? And maybe we win by maybe we win by 10. Can we win by 10 against a lesser Miami team? Do that next week and then follow it up with another good performance against the Lions. Like that's all. Can it not be we win this game, next week we lose, and then I don't know, we win or then we look incompetent against the Lions, then we win the last 2 games against the Browns and the Ravens by the skin of our teeth and backdoored into the playoffs. Like, can we just be a consistent team? That's all I'm throwing out there. That's really, I think, what I'm really trying to get to. Can we be sustainable on both sides of the ball with how we do things? And even after today's game, you take the win, you take the end result. I think those questions still remain. They do. So it is frustrating. Take the win, but this team's still frustrating. Xavier TG 1537 Guardian cast for the entire team. Yeah, bro, that Malik Harrison hit was scary. I think that's what you're talking about. I don't know if there's another hit that you're referring to, but that's the one that comes to mind. It's definitely scary. Dolphins are playing good lately, and I did mention that in one of my more recent shows. I forget if it was a post-game report or not. But if you look at their opponents, they've been playing some really shitty teams. I guess props to them because they're at least playing better than what they were to start the season. But yeah, they're 6-7, so they're like not too far off from us. You saw how this game went against the Ravens, who are now 6-7. So they have the same record as Miami. We are definitely a step closer in the non-losing season champions category. Yeah, that dub was good for the Hats for sure. Build some cushion room there. We only need 2 wins in the last 4 games, and 2 of them are going to be Miami Browns. We're probably going to be favored in both of those. We'll probably even be favored with the Ravens now. Home game, I could see that. Be underdogs against the Lions. We just got to win 2 games out of 4, and out of those 4, 3 will be favored in. And we'll get the 9-8. The Hats will live on. Yeah, at one point, second half, I'm texting, Hats are in jeopardy right now. Hats ain't gonna make it past this season because of how bad we were. Like, that's literally how it shifted. Like, that's within the course of a game. It's like, oh, we're back. We look awesome. We keep doing this, we could play with anyone. Patriots, watch out. Broncos, watch out. Any team in the AFC, watch out. Steelers, this works. This formula, this style of football works. Offense, defense, complementary. Offense was dynamic. Guys were getting open. We had formations. We had personnel groupings that actually confuse the defense a little bit, that actually can keep them on their toes. And we were taking advantage. We were executing. Defense was stopping the run. Defense was setting the tone. Like, defense was aggressive, playing with confidence. We all saw that in the first half, right? And then shit disappears. Now, maybe part of it is Lamar started getting out of his own way and started just flat out right playing better. Part of it could be that, but is it also possible we allowed for him to do that because we started to get too comfortable with our lead and played not to lose, play a little bit. I don't want to say scared, but you get what I'm saying? Pete the Penguins Ghost, Pierre Island, early pick. It says make Big Deke news hats. Maybe, bro. Yeah, now that I'm a designer here, now that I'm a clothing person, a merchandiser here, we'll see. We'll see what other stuff we can cook up. There's definitely more potential, but I like these hats. I like these hats the best. Can't go wrong. Simple message, truthful message, stylish, can wear with anything. Wear it out on the town on a weekend. Wear it during the day for a coffee trip, grocery store trip. Wear it for the Steeler game. You do whatever, man. Do whatever with the hats. This is what I'm saying. Just make this the Rodgers offense going forward, please. Because I have no doubt in my mind there was heavy Rodgers influence on the first half offense, first three-quarter offense. And then it didn't look like that in the fourth quarter. It looked like Matt Canada type of stuff in the fourth quarter. Right. True. That's why it makes sense. That's why it just hits. If you know, you know. It doesn't have to be like the subtlety makes it. The subtlety makes it. You don't have to overdo it. If you know, you know. Yeah, there's a case for that. That's the other thing. I mean, I thought that was it likely? I think it was likely. The pass from Lamar to Likely at the end of the game, like 2 minutes left. I thought that was a touchdown. I'll take it. I'll take the gift though. The refs gave us there. Absolutely. I'll take it, but Steelers got a little bit blessed down the stretch. Some Ravens penalties too. They screwed themselves there. What was it on the return? And then also they got some sort of penalty that backed them up, got them off schedule. Sometimes that's it. Like to win in this, sometimes it is you not making the mistakes. Sometimes it is. I feel like that's our mentality too often, though, at times. And we're not actually setting the tone, enforcing our style of play on the opposition. I saw it for a half. I saw like a vintage Steelers team in that first half. I'm like, oh damn, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Then it disappeared second half. What else we got? What else am I missing here before I sign off? What else should I talk about? Henry, yeah, as a whole, 3.8 yards per carry. Mitchell had the explosive run. Lamar had some on the ground, 7 carries, 43. He had a touchdown. Like that adds up to the 217. Like Ravens stuck with the run. I don't know what else I'm missing here. What else should I highlight? I hope you guys don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm taking this dub, bro. I'm taking this dub, but I'm not like I'm just not gonna. I don't know. I'm not gonna sit up here like overly excited, overly joyed with how the game played out. I'm not gonna be sitting up here saying like we're back and we should feel like we're in the top echelon in the AFC. I pointed out that there's some reasons for optimism. There's some steps in the right direction. More with the offense than the defense. But yeah, step in the right direction. But is it going to be a step in the wrong direction next week? 2 steps in the wrong direction next week? We get smoked at home against Miami? I'm not expecting that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting that. But what is there to expect with this team anymore? What is there to expect? Because just when they're reeling you in, getting you thinking, oh, we're back. We actually got things figured out. We got a new formula. We made real adjustments. The second half happens. You know what I mean? Could have easily lost this game. Easily. And that's just that this game was pretty much a microcosm of the season as a whole and these Steeler teams as a whole. We witnessed it within the game, but it's also exemplary of what we see from a 17 game sample with these Steelers. Oh, back-to-back good dubs. Steelers, top team in the AFC. Next 2 games, get blown out against quality opponents. And then we squeak one out the next week. Now we're like 3-2. And then we look bad, 3-3. We rattle off 2 or 3 in a row. It looks like, oh, we're back. One of those 2 or 3 games, one or two of the 3 games maybe against good teams, contenders. Oh wow, Steelers back, and then we lose. Then we lose 3 again or something. That's just how it goes, unfortunately. Heavy-handed Vaughn accidentally got under the replacement skin on the other show. I'll stop bringing you up. Keep up the great content, Sabotage 7. Thanks for the support, bro. Thanks for the plug. Appreciate it, man. Sabotage 7, we got a real one in the chat right here. Heavy-handed Vaughn, thanks for the $4.99. You know what's up. Let's just win next week. And we'll be 8-6. Let's just win next week. I do have reason. I have a little reason for hope, though. I do. I have a little reason for hope with the offense. I saw some good things from the defense. We closed out the game well-ish. Got a nice call from the ref there. And, yeah, the first half was quality. Can we just put together a complete game? Please? Maybe I'm asking too much. Am I? You guys let me know. Am I asking too much? Because, when you look around the league, maybe there's not too many teams putting out complete games. It's just that I have not seen this team really hit their ceiling or potential on a consistent basis at all. Whereas at least you see it from the Lions. You see it from other teams, right? Where for a 2, 3, 4 game stretch, like they're actually showcasing their identity, letting you know who they are as a team, offense, defensively, putting full games together and letting you know that we're a top echelon team in this league. Maybe I'm off. Are the expectations too high? But that's what the Steelers team's expectations should be. Like, they should be high. Like, if they're not, what else are we talking about here? And that's why we're so disappointed with this team's results over the last several years. And even within this year of being 7-6 and it looking like the way that it has. It's like this ain't the standard. Like this shouldn't be the thing that's like celebrated or overly celebrated, right? This shouldn't be the thing that we're proud of. Take the win. We're happy about the win. We could talk about maybe some of the positives going into next week. But can you keep it up? Can you build off of it? Because every time you actually do build off it, then it goes to shit again. And then you build off something from there, backs against the wall, have a nice game or two straight, and then it's back down again. 9-8, 10-7. Dustin Decker, 86. Yeah, appreciate your support, bro. Appreciate the engagement on the show today. My birthday is on Monday. I turned 37. Always be positive till I die. Let's hope and pray for a complete game and a win. Also, in your opinion, should Rodgers stay or what quarterback should we get? You asked me in the first half. Yeah, I was saying Rodgers back in 2026. Texted it out to my friends. They have confirmation. They have the proof. Yep. Yeah, I said Rodgers back 2026. I say Rodgers back 2026, and let's get a new OC, new vision for the offense or something. If we're gonna do that, I would assume if Rodgers is back 2026, Tomlin's also back. But yeah, we got to get rid of Arthur Smith then. Get a Rodgers guy in here. Let them go to work. Just go all in with the Rodgers offense. Let's see how the season plays out, though. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I would have been saying that after last week. In fact, last week I was like, with Rodgers' injury and us running this pistol shit, how's our offense going to get any better with the surroundings that we have for Rodgers with the receiver room? We got too many tight ends out there. Like, no quarterback is going to be able to make this shit work, let alone Rodgers dealing with this injured wrist, and we're running pistol formations. Even if it was Mason, whatever quarterback, if we threw Will Howard out there, this ain't going to work. If Arthur Smith's calling the plays and we got Jonnu Smith out there at the clip that we got him out there, All these tight ends, receivers not getting open. It ain't gonna work. Now, we made the changes. That's the thing. I did say offense lackluster. We got to do something different. We picked up Thielen. Fine. That's not gonna hurt us. Try to switch it up a little bit there. Got MVS out there. Even though MVS didn't have a catch, I do think he opened some stuff up just with his presence. You got to watch for that. His relationship, his rapport with Rodgers got to be accounted for, and also his speed does. And he's tall. If you throw it up to him, he's more of a threat to catch it than a Calvin Austin down the field. All right, I think that's it, guys. Anything else? Anything else? I'm not trying to come off as negative. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm just trying to drop that real. Just trying to give it to you honest. How I'm feeling after this game. Like, this is how I'm feeling. It is. Dustin Decker 86. Meant to put that my birthday is on the Dolphins game. Yep, the Monday. Yeah, it's Monday night game next week. I just wish that we would utilize the middle of the field more. Been watching you since you and Moats. You a real one, you and OG. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Yep, that's what I'm saying. MVS helped DK Metcalf. That's what I'm thinking. Things opened up for DK a little bit more this week. Hell, Rodgers, first play of the game. Love that pass. Love that we threw one up 50 yards down the field. Even with DK, it was kind of like borderline double coverage. It looked like it's some sort of cover two. Safety was coming over. Like, Rodgers really had to drop that pinpoint accuracy right there. He didn't even care if DK was getting singled or not. It was kind of like double coverage. Still threw it up there. Absolute dime. Dude, you know what? Yeah, we got to give credit to Rodgers. That was a hell of a game by Rodgers. Extending plays, mobile, looking spry, taking some shots too, like he has a lot of this season. Taking some shots, hanging in there, playing with that broken wrist. But dude, there was some throws. There were some throws, man. You're just like, oh shit. Like, he still got it. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, if he's playing like this, yeah, 2026, absolutely. Fine with that. Let's get him some better help. Let's get him another receiver. That's all I would ask for, really. I would ask, get him a Devontae. I was gonna say Devontae Adams ain't leaving the Rams and Stafford, but get him another receiver like that. Get him another, 1A, 1B type, which is what we've been talking about. Someone across from DK Metcalf that's legit. Almost like what the Bengals have with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, Pickens. Eagles, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. That type of vibe, that type of energy. No, not Odell. Yeah, Rodgers played really good. Kenneth Gainwell continues to play good. I still weirdly feel like we get him the ball too much. Like, I feel like he takes too many snaps away from Jaylen Warren. We're making Jaylen Warren too much like Najee Harris last year when Jalen's out there, it signals run. Whereas with Kenneth Gainwell, it feels more pass, and it could be either run or pass. I think we're misutilizing Jaylen Warren a little bit. Now, he did have the touchdown. 3 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown for Jaylen Warren. But I feel like it should be Jaylen Warren getting the majority and not Kenneth Gainwell. But Rodgers must have a preference towards Gainwell or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But I like what he's positive. Like, Gainwell's good. I like what he's doing. I just like Jaylen Warren more. I think he's better. He's a better version of Kenneth Gainwell. Calvin Austin had a nice catch. Darnell was doing good. That's what I mean. I like some of those formations with Darnell being out there, middle of the field. We got our tall, fast guys on the outside, DK, MVS. And then you have whatever other receiver in there, like a Calvin Austin or a Thielen. Running back obviously poses a threat in the passing game. I like that stuff. It's actually utilizing all of your eligibles in a way that you could pass to any one of these guys. And you're keeping the defense guessing. Don't think we were doing that over the last month. I don't know why, but glad we got the memo and said, that shit ain't working. Let's do something else. Sometimes it's not that complicated. Sometimes it's not. Think, what is going to hurt the defense? What is going to piss off the defense? What can we throw out there? Let's do that. Not what's going to have the defense we're going up against happy, because they don't really have to think too much about this. They don't have to worry about half of our eligibles. Not a good idea to do that. Better idea to do what I said, the former. All right, guys. I think I'm out of here. I don't know if I got anything else. Let me make sure I read all these paid comments, the paying customers out here. Yep. Appreciate you guys. I'll be back next week for the post game. I'll be back tomorrow with more to talk about. Maybe I'll have a more rosy perspective, a more cheerful take. We'll see. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, we won. Victory Monday, right? Victory Monday. Yeah, smoke that Ravens pack. Yep. That's what we on. All right, I'm out of here. No, well, not completely. I mean, it's just, you got to put priority. I mean, if they're paying, I've been reading the non-paid comments too. Time's valuable as well. Like I understand that. If you're taking your time out, listen to me, that counts too. But if you're doing that and paying, come on. Not rocket science here. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Stay chilling. Here we go, Steelers. First in the North. Peace.